Hello, hello, hello. I'm Lynn Browner, and I have a son, Owen, who is 11, and he has autism. And we paint together, working on his fine motor skills. And I paint a lot of flowers. If you've watched my paintings before, any of my videos, you see lots of flowers. Occasionally, like last night, I do other random things, but I like to paint flowers. It's calming, I suppose. For a while, I was painting a lot of roosters and birds and such, and I'm sure I'll go through another phase, but right now, we're at flowers. So, and a lot of times bunches of flowers. I was about to rub my eye and I have paint all over it, and so I was we were about to see if I could see. So if you've watched my videos before, I do a lot of flowers, and I like to watch paint dry. So you've heard me say that before, and that is, it is what I like. I generally paint flowers with one paintbrush and just kind of go through as I'm moving along and add, different colors and textures and things as we go along here. And so that's kind of what I do. I like how paint will change colors as it dries. And I like having the extra, I can't talk. I should probably have like music or something going on tonight instead of talking, because texture, the extra colors and texture of having this as I go along, like with the yellows and the kind of maroon burgundy color there. And I kind of changed this. I'm not sure if that's making me happier or not, but kind of changed. See, this happens all the time. I wasn't completely convinced I had I don't know, put the petals in the right spots, and so I just kept changing, and then it just wasn't going where I wanted it to go. I've been very tired the last week. Very, just lots of emotional things with Owen and life. It's one thing to have your own emotions and your own things that are going on, but then I have Owen's emotions and how his emotions are constantly in my emotions, because when he's not happy, Mama's not happy, and he doesn't necessarily know how to, when we have emotions, they are always kind of popping up at different times and for different reasons. And sometimes, if it's something about like the way, the internet's not working, or the way something is going, you have to put that aside and move forward. You have to just let it go and figure out the solution, or do something else for a minute, or something. And for him, that's not always the case. That's not always the way he can think about something or move forward on something. And, that's hard because I don't always know what the answer is, or like he will have a meltdown over a video that he's watching that he thought was supposed to do one thing and it didn't do what he thought it was going to do. It could be something like they opened a screen door or something and he expects it to be different. And that's just hard because you can't change a video. You can't change something that's happening on that. Or you can't change something that's happened in the past that he would want to happen again. It's hard to know where the meltdown is going to come from or where those emotions are going to come from, his and mine. It's I always say autism is as much about how I handle it as it is about Owen having it, because it's hard on him. I mean, he says tons of words and his vocabulary is increasing constantly, but he still has a hard time with making those concrete sentences about his feelings, his emotions, or what's going on. And so if you asked him if he was mad about something or happy or sad, he will repeat a lot of the things that you're saying. And so with that, you're not always getting his emotional connection or what he really wants to tell you or how he's really feeling. And so it's hard because he needs me to know what he's talking about or what he's thinking. And when he's saying something, he's generally saying the opposite of what it is. So, for example, if we're driving down the road and he wants me to go, he gives lots of directions, lots and lots of directions. If he wants me to go right, he says left. And if he wants me to go left, he says right. And that's constant. That's not just like he gets in his mind how he wants something to go, and it's hard for him to process or change directions, literally directions, or just let me drive. Let me drive without him being mad at where I'm going. And that's hard on me because, I don't know what's going to set him off. And it's not a matter of him just it being a couple of minutes in the car. This can last hours and hours and affect days, months, years later. One day, and it's probably been, I would have to say at least 5 years. It's hard for me to guess time sometimes, but I would say it's at least 5 years. There was a lady with a dog standing on a corner near us that he can see from our front window. She was there just randomly one day with her dog, and he will never forget that. He has never forgotten it. I don't know if he ever will forget it. And randomly, he wants that lady on that corner with that dog. I never know when that's going to happen, when he's going to want her to reappear. I don't know that I've ever seen this lady on that corner again with a dog. I can't say that I haven't, because I remember the lady in general, but I don't know exactly what she looked like. I probably couldn't even describe the dog. Kind of a bigger dog. That's about all I can tell you. But he is focused on it. And it's not all the time. It's random times. But he gets set in his mind that he wants to see this lady, and that's it. So how do you explain to him that's not happening? That's not going to be something that we will encounter again. Maybe never. I don't know that I would ever be able to, even if there was videos on every corner, see, that happens a lot. We'll have to figure out what we're going to do with that. Even if there were videos, I would have to remember the year, remember the timing, remember so many things about that. I don't believe I could. I don't know that I could remember enough information for us to be able to look for a video to even be able to show him again. And it is something that has repeatedly over the years been a focus of his. So, all of that to say, I don't know when he will have a meltdown over things, and I can't control all of the situations. But if I can help him through some of these moments and say, okay, well, we can't fix this today, or we can't do this today, and get him to understand that is all we can do. That's all we can do. I breathe, because how do you explain that? I have a hard time explaining it to myself, but how do you explain it to somebody else that your child's having a meltdown over something that happened years ago? 4 or 5 more years. And so I can only imagine what's going on in his mind, that he wants to focus on a lady that's not probably ever going to be back on that corner, or that we've seen, or maybe he has seen her. I don't know. But that's the things that I have to think through, look through for, reevaluate, talk to him about, and just let him understand that mommy doesn't always have the answers. Mommy can't always make people magically appear when he wants them to. So learning to let go of my own story with that, my own process of how that affects my baby, that's emotional. I had to think for a minute to be able to do that without. I might just leave him over there. I was thinking I'd put one more there, but I might just put some, as I call them, little leafy doodles and spiky doodles. That's what I might do. I think I kind of like him just hanging out over there. But that's emotions, that's emotions that he's learning to deal with, and I'm learning. It truly is about how I handle so much of this. And that's one of the things that I have to learn to live with and deal with and think through, because I breathe. I want things to be easier for my baby. I want things to not be as cumbersome for him, or just, the mama things. I want them to be what they can for him. So it's that learning curve for me, and just praying a lot and hoping that I'm doing all I can for him. So I think that's where I'm leaving my bouquet. I think I have to stare at it sometimes, but I think that's where it is. But he had a pretty good day. Otherwise, I had a pretty good day. He didn't want to go anywhere today. He was getting ready for church tomorrow, and then he keeps thinking school starts on Monday, because, that makes sense to both of us, really, but it doesn't start until Friday. So that's going to be hard for him, and had I thought it through, I would have not said that school started on Friday, but we've already gone down that road. O for Owen, since he is the reason I started painting. And then L. And And this tells just as much about our journey as the painting itself. I was trying to decide if I wanted to do any other little things, but I think that's where we're at. That wild guy up there. But this is my paint that's left over, and so what I do is I squish this all out and I'll make it a little more squishable. But I push all that around, and then I make, oh, I hit the thing, paint blob jewelry, that's what I call it. And these are going to be necklaces or keychains, but some of these are magnets, and then this flips. It's hard to flip when I have my hands full, but that flips. I'll probably drop everything. But all of this is from the paint blobs. The paint, I spread it out and then it dries. And then once this dries, then I make it into the paint blobs. So then it'll be on my website. So if you'd like to look, my website is Sweet Baby O, or you can check us out on Facebook at Sweet Baby O and Sweet Baby O Designs. So thank you so much for listening to my story and for watching me paint. And I just keep staring at it because I wonder if I want to add more flowers, but I'm going to leave it. So thank you and have a great rest of your day. Toodles!